Hey guys, Mike here from Lunch Money Comics. I'm with my son Jack, and today we are at Zombie Hideout in Springfield, Massachusetts, a huge comic and collectible store. And today is Black Friday. They're having a huge sale on everything. Let's see what great deals we can find. So these comic books are always cheap, but everything's half off today, so you can get some pretty amazing deals. You just gotta dig. It's surprising how tiring it is to go through all these comic books. And I love comic books and I'm exhausted. All right, it's tradition in this store to reach into a random box and see what gets pulled out. So I'm gonna have Jack do it. Pick a random box and pick out a random comic. Go for it. What you get? Legendary, very cool. All right, guys, that's it. We're short on time and my phone is inexplicably dying. So let's head on home. I'll show you everything that we got. So there you go. That was the Zombie Hideout, a huge comic and collectible store in Springfield, Massachusetts. Now, I've actually done several videos on this store, like in recent months, and it's no surprise why. They have a huge selection of comic book back issues, but only about half of them are actually organized. I know this drives some people absolutely crazy, but I don't know, I kind of like it. It feels like a huge treasure hunt to me, like a big box of chocolates. I never know what I'm gonna find, and it sort of scratches an itch for me. And because of that, I've been going quite a bit recently. But the best part about this place, of course, is the fact they have cheap comic books. And what's better than cheap comic books? Cheaper comic books. As you heard me say, they had a huge Black Friday sale going on. All the comic books were discounted by a lot. Anything $3 and under, which is most of them, were 50% off. Anything else, 25% off. So I was already kind of thinking of going, but then my son asked me, hey, Dad, I'm looking for some certain Magic cards. Can we go to that Zombie Hideout place? I was like, you picked a good day, son. So we went, we had a fantastic time. Him looking at the Magic cards, me looking for comic books, and I have an awesome stack to show you guys. So before I show them to you, if you like this sort of stuff and you want to support the channel, head on down, like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help. And of course, you can follow me on Instagram under Lunch Money Comics IG. So first up, we have a completely random comic book. In a tradition that I started at Zombie Hideout, I decided I would reach into a random box and pull out a random comic book to buy and talk about on the channel. I thought it really spoke to the whole big box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get, and it's always fun to get a comic book you didn't expect. Well, the last couple times I did it, I was aiming specifically for like DC books, but this time I had Jack do it in a completely random box, completely disorganized, and random indeed we got. He pulled out this. This is Legendary, a steampunk adventure #1 by Dynamite Comics. It's from 2013. And I don't know much about this other than it's a steampunk adventure, and it was written by Bill Willingham, who is the author of the very highly acclaimed Fables, printed by DC. That's all I really know. I thought it was kind of cool that Jack pulled this out because he's been really into steampunk lately. He actually dressed up for Halloween as like a steampunk guy. So I flipped through this first. It's a little mature for him, but still really cool art. I'm actually very interested to see what it's all about. Always fun to pull out a random book, guys. All right, next up, I have a couple of books that I got that are boarded. What that means at this store is they are $3 if they're bagged or boarded unless otherwise priced. And if you get like 5 of them, you get 1 of them for free. But because everything was half off, if they were at that lower price point, these books here were $1.50 each. So I just started grabbing some random Amazing Spider-Man out of the Spider-Man boxes, the ones I thought looked cool, and this is what I came up with in that short amount of time. Here we have the Amazing Spider-Man number 270 from 1985. Awesome Ron Friends cover of Spider-Man in the black suit beating up Firelord, of all people, who is a Herald of Galactus. Yeah, from time to time, Spider-Man can get pretty powerful. Thought it was a pretty cool cover. I wanted to pick it up. This next one is The Amazing Spider-Man number 287. This is from 1986. And you can see why I picked this one up. Not only do you have a cool black suit Spider-Man, but he's facing off against Daredevil, two of my favorite Marvel heroes. And yes, I actually read this as soon as I got home. They do fight each other. This is part 4 of a gang war storyline. Art on the inside is by Eric Larson, who was really like one of the big Spider-Man artists I loved as a kid in the 90s. And yeah, there's something weird going on where Spider-Man's trying to get the Kingpin, but Daredevil wants to bring him to justice in a legal manner. So Daredevil, I'm not joking about this, actually dresses up as the Kingpin in a fat suit. And Spider-Man starts fighting him and it's revealed as Daredevil, and they fight each other. You hear what they're thinking. It's actually really cool. Happy to pick this up for $1.50. Now I have a couple of Spectacular Spider-Man titles, starting with this one. So this is Spectacular Spider-Man Milestone Issue number 100. It's from 1984-85. Art and story by Al Milgrom, who was working on this series. And you can see why I like this comic book. We have lots of great characters on it. First of all, we have this 100, big block numbers behind there. And you also have, of course, Spider-Man. You have the black symbiote suit that he was getting issues with at the time. Remember, this is before Venom. You have The Spot in his 3rd appearance. He first appeared in Spectacular Spider-Man 98. You have the Kingpin, and you have Black Cat, who Peter Parker was having a relationship with at the time. So lots of great characters. Fantastic fight in here between Spider-Man and The Spot. Anyone who watched Across the Spider-Verse knows what potential The Spot has and how cool he can be in a fight with Spidey. Happy to get this book. I have like 3 copies of it, but I always pick it up for really cheap. Next up, this is actually a key issue. This is the Spectacular Spider-Man number 158. It's from 1989. Art by Sal Buscema, story by Jerry Conway. And this is the first time that Spider-Man gets cosmic powers. This was a very short storyline where, through an accident, Spider-Man gets the powers of Captain Universe. It becomes incredibly powerful. In fact, in this short run, he actually very famously knocked the Hulk into orbit. He punches the Hulk into orbit. I believe that might have been Todd McFarlane issue. And yeah, it was really cool. And the reason I knew about this storyline as a kid is because I had a What If comic book, you know, the What If storylines, which is what if Spider-Man held on to his cosmic powers. It was pretty cool. I thought it was neat as a kid, not having any context of how he got them in the first place. This is when he first gets them. Fantastic cover art. Happy to pick this book up. Thought it was pretty cool. All right, getting away from Spider-Man, we're going back to my true love of the X-Men and X-Men-related comic books. And we have this one here. This is the New Mutants number 29 from 1985, of course, written by Chris Claremont. Art by Bill Sienkiewicz. Now, I love Bill Sienkiewicz. He's not only a great pencil artist, but he's also a fantastic painter, especially with these very abstract covers. He did a lot of these painted covers for the New Mutants run, so I love collecting them when I can. But this one also happens to be a key issue in the first appearance of an X-Men character. This is the first appearance of Guido, later known as Strong Guy, a big, strong mutant who is a longtime member of X Factor. So always happy to pick up these first appearances of mutants really cheap. Okay, I'm pretty excited about these next books here. I talk about those Marvel trading cards a lot, how they inspired me when I was a kid, and I like the first appearances. This next comic book I actually already own, but I'll explain why I got another one. It is this. Okay, so this is Deathlock, book 1 of 4. It was part of a limited series from 1990, which first introduced us to the new Deathlock, which is named Michael Collins. Now, Deathlock first appeared years before in 1974 in Astonishing Tales number 25, and that was a character named Luther Manning. And there's been lots of characters that held the mantle of Deathlock because it is basically like a cybernetic cyborg suit that can reanimate a dead human. Right, because comics. So the first one was Luther Manning, but then we get introduced to a new one in the early 90s, and he had his own ongoing series after this came out. But he first premiered Michael Collins in this 4-part series, written by the same people, Dwayne McDuffie and Gregory Wright. You had various artists work on the 4 issues. But one really cool thing about these is that each cover, the 4-part series, has a different artist. And this first one is one of my personal favorites. This is a painted cover by Joe Jusko. Joe Jusko, a lot of people know him from doing those Marvel trading cards in the early 90s, especially the Marvel Masterpieces. And when I first saw his art when I was a kid, I was blown away that anyone could paint comic book characters instead of just draw them, especially someone as talented as Joe Jusko. And you can see why. Look at this cover, guys. I love the fact you see Michael Collins as a man, and then you see the cyborg suit separate, and then them combined. but I love the way Jusko does metallic. Look at his legs. I mean, it's incredible how photorealistic this is. I absolutely love this book, and because it's the first appearance of the Michael Collins Deathlock, of which I have several Marvel trading cards, I already owned this book. But I did not have the other 3 issues in the series, and I found them all in the box. So this is the first issue. Next up, we have this one. I just talked about Bill Sienkiewicz. Well, this is him again, doing the painted cover on the second issue. Awesome. The third issue here, we have Dennis Cowens takes over the pencil duties, I think, in the last 2. But the cover art here is Kent Williams. Don't know what's going on it, but it's cool. And then the last one I mentioned Dennis Cowens actually did the pencils in it. Well, he actually did the cover on this one. He's not only a great penciler, but also a great painter. So this is Dennis Cowan right there. Awesome. So yeah, guys, to get the whole 4-part series for $6 total, I think is an absolute deal and a half. They're all in great shape. They're all also square bound, thick novellas kind of, more like a graphic novel. So there's a lot of reading material here. I've never read this whole series. Happy to dig into it. So the last 2 comic books, it was really interesting. We were almost getting ready to go. I think in the footage you saw Jack pull out that random comic. A gentleman walked up behind me. His name is Conrad. I see him whenever I go to Zombie Hideout, and he knows the type of stuff I'm looking into. So he actually brought over a stack of comic books they had just got in, but hadn't yet put on the top shelf for their wall books, and he let me look through them first. There were a lot of good books in there. They were already priced pretty good, plus the discount, and I found 2 in there that I absolutely had to have, and the first one is this. So this is Wolverine number 10 from 1989, once again written by Chris Claremont, art by John Buscema. Once again, though, we have a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Again, the talent of Bill Sienkiewicz, guys, is incredible. Not only a great penciler, a great artist in many different mediums. Fantastic cover right there. Now, this book here often is claimed to be the first battle between Wolverine and Sabretooth. Not really. So the first time you see them fight in comic books is in X-Men 212 and 213. That's the first time you actually see them cross blades, cross claws, whatever have you. But even then, in that fight, it's clear that they already know each other. They already have a past. And that was 3 years before this comic book came out. Why this comic book's often cited as their first battle is because it's told in flashbacks. You have Wolverine doing some stuff in Madripoor and flashing back to a time when he fought Sabretooth. A long time ago, when they're in Canada, Sabretooth murders the woman he was in love with at the time, who was a Native American named Silver Fox. This is her first appearance, although she's just a corpse. And he kills her just to get to Wolverine. And Wolverine's thinking back to this battle where Sabretooth just absolutely destroys Wolverine. He absolutely beats him to a pulp. He wins, stands over him, and gloats. And has made it a tradition for years to always seek out Wolverine at least once a year just to beat the snot out of him. That's how much these guys hate each other. Sabretooth is a bad dude. And it's really the first time Wolverine feels fear and really feels like he's been wounded is when he fights Sabretooth. So this is a very cool comic book, guys. It was listed at $15. So with that 25% off, I got it for like $11 or so. So I thought it was a pretty awesome deal. And I want to add one more thing. You can see I rebagged and boarded all these. You can see even on the back of that board, they wrote first Sabretooth Wolverine fight. Kind of. Again, it's a flashback, and even in that flashback, it's clear they already know each other. You see their first appearance of Silver Fox. So, pretty happy to pick this up for $11. But the last book is once again a Wolverine book, one that I've owned in the past in an iconic cover that everyone knows. It is this. This is Wolverine number 8 from 1989. Once again, Chris Claremont and John Buscema. John Buscema also doing this iconic cover showing Wolverine in his patch persona leaning against Hulk in his Joe Fixit persona, wearing some quite suave-looking tuxes. A silly cover, but a very cool one that people like. I did a whole video on this book one time, guys, where I used to make fun of this book until I saw it and I liked it. I love the colors on it. I like sort of the cyan, the yellow, and the magenta, the contrast between them. I think it's a cool book. I had it on my shelf for a while. I liked it more every time I saw it, and then I traded it away. Here we have a lower grade copy. It's got some color breaks over here, a little bit of a color break in the top corner. Who cares? Ended up costing me $9 with the discount. I think it's a great deal for this comic book. happy to have it back in my collection. So that is it, guys. Nice quick video. Head on down in the comments and let me know which of my pickups you like the best. Do you like hunting in these sort of box of chocolate type places where they're unorganized, or does it drive you guys crazy when they're not sorted by title? Sound off down below. I know everyone has an opinion on this one, guys. That's it. Keep hunting for comic books in strange and unusual places, especially local comic book stores when they're having big sales. Thank you all so very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.